Greetings all, welcome to my monk, not basic, but it's going to be the fundamental basics, which is pretty much all you're going to need. There's not going to be no magic tricks that you've never seen. It's going to be like obvious shit, but it's going to make you more fundamentally, I guess, rounded off. Because you want to be complete, you don't want to be incomplete. You know, you don't want no blind spots in your understanding. You want, and For Honor ain't asking much, to be fair. There's like not a lot of moves, so just understand all of the moves. You know, like the monk. By the way, this move is not plus. If you land this, you're not on a plus advantage of frames, because if that person there light attacks me, they will beat me. If I do this and then I want to do another light attack like that, I'm on a minus. So all I will say is don't bother doing this, all three of them, unless it's to finish a round. And it's only 4 extra damage, you know, so, you know, it's so rarely used. You know, most of the time you want to just do 2 into Q stance, yeah? So just understand that, because if I go to move sets, and then we go to light attack after first attack. Like, okay. Look, I get beat every time. But the good thing about the doing 2 is if they go to light attack you after doing 2, you can, you know, land that, you know, which is nice. So that's why that move exists. Because lots of people like to attack through things, and if they do, you know, you get your mix-ups. So yeah, right. With the monk, you got your hold it after any move, puts you into Q stance. Apart from all 3 of them, you can't do it on all 3 of them. Or the zone attack, you can't hold that, which is weird. It'd be cool if you hold that, huh? Like hold the zone. But anyway, yeah. So you know you could do heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, light. Or finish it with a heavy. Or finish it with like a light. You know, like to keep some sort of mix-up going. But a lot of the time you're going to be doing like heavy holding or heavy light holding. You know, a lot of Q stance. But, you know, not necessarily, you know. That lands a lot when you do like this. Look. That lands a lot because they get so used to Q stance. You know, like, they get used to you going into Q stance and they're getting ready for these mix-ups, yeah? But sometimes just being simple about it and letting that go. That's what I was trying to explain about, like, that's what makes you a better fighter, is just knowing that, you know, like keeping it simple. It's like being a chef. If you listen to Marco Pierre White, where he talks about, you got to be basic with cooking, you know, like, don't overcomplicate the dish, you know? And it's the same with fighting games. Don't overcomplicate the dish. Just keep it, serve them up some simple arse whooping, you know? You don't have to fucking, like, try and get all, like, chaotic and crazy and start doing backflips, you know? Like, you know, like, you can, just hand them out what is the recipe that's required. That's gonna land. But anyway, that is pretty simple. But, you know, the basic mix-ups with the monk is gonna be the kick into this, or is going to be the homing move, or if you want to do it, you can do the homing move into the grab, yeah? Which is quite a stamina draining mix-up, to be fair. Like, you know, and you might even get a second light after it, but that is a risk. But, you know, if they're against a good player and you feel like they're going to catch that second light, so it's probably best to always do the second light, you know, like always try and get that second light. Because if they do parry it and you realise they're like some mad parrier, you know, that opens them up now to that, you know. It's like, okay, you're going to try and parry my lights. I'm going to just counter that. I'm going to counter that understanding that I've just read or seen with the opposite. You know, it's quite a simple game for Honor, you know, like... So it's just sort of like, okay, they're parrying that light, but most of the time they're not going to be able to parry. I wouldn't even bother trying to, like, change directions, you know? Like, if they're trying to parry my light, I wouldn't, like, change directions. Instead, I'd just be like, okay, bam, there you go. Do you know what I mean? Like, because if you change direction, what, you're going to land a light attack, and they're still trying to parry a light, but if you just chuck on a new heavy, you know, bap, there you go. But, or you could just, you know, like, not do the second light and hold it and go in a Q stance. But, yeah. So anyway... Q stance, you know, after any of his stick attacks land, you can get this sweep, which gives you a free heavy. You can hold it to go into stance, or after anything lands, it gives you a free heavy. You can hold it in stance, maybe do like a light or another heavy, you know. But, you know, keep your eye on your stamina. So, obviously, like, you want to go in. But, you know, like, I'm not teaching you nothing new. The thing with, like, nothing you don't know. But, like, things like, he's got a deflect, which is nice. But let's say, it's not going to work with a warden, but let's say you're up against like an Orochi and you feint a heavy and he like pulls out his dodge move, yeah? When you land the dodge move, if you parry the dodge move, you get a guaranteed heavy, which does 24 damage, yeah? And you've always got the chance of adding the second part on, which I think you should, you know, because it's an extra 9 damage, which is quite a lot. But if you land a deflect, it's only 20 damage. Like, if I land a deflect and do a heavy, it's 20 damage. So if you do that and he goes to do his dodge move, don't counter it with a deflect and get 20 damage. Just parry it and throw the heavy because it's more damage, you know? Yeah. Game overall style with a monk is kung fu, you know? Like, get in there. And you're so versatile as the monk. You've got like infinite strings. You've got your brilliant stance mix-ups. You know, like his donks are great. You know, 24 damage all the way round. You know, his out of stamina combo is super easy. How do we put the thing out of stamina? I actually don't know. Opponent. Anyway, the out of stamina combo is super easy. You know, like, it's just light, heavy, light. Hold into stance, no matter what. If you guard break them while they're out of stamina, any direction, it's light, heavy, light, hold. If you parry them when they're out of stamina and they fall, it's light, heavy, light, hold. That's it. You know, super easy, super cool. And that's what I mean about, that's what I like about the monk as well. He is super easy and super cool. You know, like, there are certain things that are skill-based, like if you want to start catching that, if you want to push yourself and get a bit spicy, you can. But he's also got his deflects, which is nice, because you don't want to be without a deflect, do you? You know, it's nice to get his deflect. But his deflects ain't that useful, you know, like, because they're just sort of good, like, as kind of like, I don't know, like, whenever, like, there's a light attack or whatever and you get a deflect. But again, you might as well just parry. You know, the monk's deflects are a little bit, like, useless. You know, he's also got this, you know, but you can't go into that sweep from that. You know, don't get it confused with this, because you can go into the sweep, you know? But anyway, and you can go into the sweep from any of his attacks in Q stance apart from just the kick. You can't go into the sweep from just the kick. If I attack here, I will ping off. If I attack from here with the light, I will ping off. But if I attack from the top with the light, it won't ping off. It will be one of them ones. So that is a mix-up with the monk that, you know, like, not a lot of people, I think, are aware of. It's not on the front of everyone's mind. But it's like, look, you know, these two ping off. This one doesn't, yeah? So that's a good thing to keep in mind, because let me explain why. Because, you know, like, when you're here and you're like face to face with a person and, you know, you're kind of boxing and it's kind of like, who's going to throw the first light, who's going to, you know, like, do whatever. You know, like, a good decision for you to go into would be a top light, because it puts you, you know, like, let's get him to block and then do a light attack. Look. You know, like, it gives you the opportunity to, you know, like, if you're quick. I'm not being very quick. For me, it feels like that's like, how the fuck? You know, I think if I practiced, I'm pretty sure I could, but I'm not that quick reflexes. You might be, but you can dodge. You know, you can dodge, which is nice. Yeah? You know, like, land that, dodge, boom. Because I think the dodge dodges all of them, doesn't it, you know? I guess you could get a deflect even. But I probably would rather dodge than actually try to land this. Like, that was pure luck. I just got that a lucky guess. But, like... Oh, you trade. So if I do that and they throw a light, you trade. Which is good. You know, you trade. So, anyway, like I was trying to say, is like, with the monk, you know, like... No, I don't want it. There you go. But anyway, But anyway, with the monk, let me just turn this off. Right, with the monk, oops. You know, like a good, when you're in these moments, a good thing to go into is the top light, yeah, because it's doesn't ping, you know, but it also hasn't got the stab into stance. But anyway, what I was gonna say was like, you know, because they are going to expect that as maybe like as one of your go-to readable initiators. You know, like, oh yeah, he likes to go into that. They're going to read it after maybe two goes of it. He likes to go into that when we're in this moment here. He likes to do this to initiate, yeah? So then what you can do is you can instead throw a heavy, and there's a mix-up. You know, like, you either throw a heavy or, you know, like, yeah, so when you hear, it's like, okay, boom, you know, like, and that's what For Honor's about. It's about, like, just winning them 50-50s. It's all about winning them 50-50s, you know, like, he dodges, this guy likes to dodge forward and land this kick and go into, like, this stuff, yeah? Maybe, you know, like, this isn't my go-to, but, like, let's say you do. And, you know, then your 50-50 would be dodging in and going for the grab, or if they've got a dodge move, getting the parry, do you know what I mean? But... yeah, and a lot of the monk is going to be them 50-50s from here. You know, like, you're going to... you know, like, you're either going to get into the 50-50 like that, or you're going to throw that, or you're going to cancel that into a grab. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's not necessarily this case. Like, versatility, and because you've got a lot of options, yeah, like... it can lead to a mess, you know, and the trick with having a versatile character like the monk is splitting things in half in 50-50s and not confusing yourself and not having a mess. Yeah? You know, like, boom, I like to do this, boom, boom, into this mix-up, into that, boom. That's very basic and simple, you know? Like, but, like, if you, like, don't... If you can, like, figure out, you know, like, your go-to 50-50s, you know, like that, they all... but with the monk, like, everything does the same sort of damage as well. So that's another versatile thing about the monk, is everything sort of does, like, the same damage. Like, all of his heavies do 24, including his Kui stance heavies, you know, like that, 24, yeah? So... it's all sort of rounded off the same, so you don't actually have to optimize. You know, you can be creative, you can stay versatile, you can stay unreadable, and just let your hands go. Cook, you know, and that's the thing with the monk. Just cook. Just cook. Just go for it. So yeah, you know, I hope you've learned something from this. I'm sure you have, you know, and it's fundamental, basic shit, basically, that you probably already know. That's what I mean. Like, it's not a matter of saying certain things, and wisdoms isn't something that's supposed to get you to go, oh my god, I can't believe he said that, man. That's so mind-blowing, bro. Like, that's not the scenario. When you say things that are wise, what you should be saying is basic shit that makes people go, well, yeah, you know, like, of course. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's what a lot of being wise is about, is eliminating the over complexity or making things stupid and actually straightening things out and just laying things basically on the table as plain and simple as you can. That's more what talking about shit's about, instead of like trying to say things to make people go, oh my god. Yeah, that's my view anyway. So yeah, you know, go-to mix-ups has got to be that, and it's got to be like that into that, because you get a nice beautiful heavy from that. And You just go in, you know, and 50-50 them. Every step of this fight, as soon as I've got the initiation, boom, he's forced into a 50-50, and I do have, and it's weird, but there is a part of your brain that knows what they're going to choose. You know, it's deeper in the onion. Deeper in the onion. If you like, yeah, no, but I know what one you're going to do, and it's sort of like trusting. Trust your onion. I'm gonna leave off with that. Ah, trust your onion.